the one, the only, Ben Sion. Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, just Daf It. Today we continue Masechah Sotah, Daf Gimel number 3. A great shir for you today, as usual. We'll start from the top, 4 lines from the top. Tanya, Hayari Meir Omer Adam over Avera b'Seiser. Person does an Avera in private. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Machras Al Hashem makes it known to the public. Shneimar Avar Alav Ruach Kina. It says the husband passes over him a Ruach Kina. Bein Avera, Lashon of Avor, passing over. El Lashon Hachraza. We see elsewhere in the Torah it means Hachraza, to pronounce it, to proclaim it. Shneimar Yitzav Moshe Avera Kal Machana. Moshe commanded. People brought stuff to and they instructed the people in the midbar. I think it says to stop bringing things from the Mishkan. So you see, Havara is talking about a proclamation. Rish Lakish Amar, over Avera, a person doesn't do Avera until he only do Averas when you're stupid. Shenemar Ishki Tista Ishto, Tishteksiv. Tista means she went off the derech, she went to the side, she committed adultery, but also if you read it instead of a sin, you read it as shin, it sounds like shtus, like if she commits adultery, it's a stupid idea. It's usually a stupid idea to commit adultery. It's not worth it. We're going to see, the Gemara says, a woman who commits adultery basically destroys her marriage. A husband committing adultery doesn't necessarily destroy his marriage. It's interesting Gemara, the Gemara says on Gimel and Beis. So, Tana Debei, Rabbi Yishmael, Mnei Mahamina Torah Irachad B'Sotah. Shmuel teaches you a reason why did the Torah believe only one aid, right? By Sotah, right? One aid says they saw, like we learned yesterday, that there was Tuma, there was Bia. Then she's asur to her husband, even though normally elsewhere in the Torah you need 2 aidim for this, as we're going to see on Gimel and Beis. Nonetheless, over here, why did the Torah believe one aid? Right? There's more than just the Eid Echad over here. You have a warning. You have 2 Eidim, according to Rabbi Yeshua, about the stira, that they were seclusion, and 1 Eid saw that they were matam, there was actually a bia. So then, raglayim l'davar. Raglayim l'davar usually means, it's an assumption. It's an assumption. We have what to base it on. We have feet to base it on. Normally, it's not considered proof in the Torah. I'll explain this line in the Gemara more in Ian of Ben Sion, the separate 8-minute Ian share I give every day on the daf. Amalei Rav Papa Labai. Rabbi said Labai v'haki ksiva kino basar stira v'tumo d'ksiva. Right, kino we think means he warns them, but the problem is the kino. He says after it talks about stira and tumo in the pasuk, it talks about kino who d'ksiva. How could it be that kino means warning him? Amalei v'avar with a vav, it happened v'avar alav kino. It already previously v'kfar avar. It passed over a ruach of jealousy, a spirit of jealousy, and he warned her. Ella ma'ata v'avar alachem kol cholos. It says when B'nai Gad and were going to Eretz Yisrael, v'avar means it happened already. You can say the same thing over here. So the Gemara answers, you can say the same thing over there. They didn't go yet. So the Gemara answers, Hasam v'nechsiv v'nechmash ha'aretz of Hashem v'achar ta'shuvu. It says in one of the psukim over there, they'll conquer the land and then they'll go back. Mashmad l'haba. So a different pasuk tells you. Normally, Avavar would tell you it already happened previously. But based on the context over there, the other pasuk tells you it didn't happen yet. It doesn't make sense to have a warning after she already secluded herself and an Eid Echad said that she was metame herself. There's no point of what he's going to warn her afterwards. So it can't be a warning afterwards, it must be before. A person will only warn his wife unless some sort of spirit gets into him. Some sort of spirit goes into him and he warns his wife. My ruach. What type of spirit are we talking about? Rabbanan see it's a spirit of impurity, like we learned yesterday. There's an opinion that says you're not supposed to warn your wife. Ravashi Amar ruach tara. It's a good spirit. Mistabra, a pure spirit. Mistabra mandama ruach tara. The Gemara paskins, it's better if you suspect your wife, you should warn her. The Sanya v'kinat ishto rishus. David Rabbi Shmuel. Shmuel says you could. If you want, you could warn your wife. You have to warn your wife if you suspect her of committing adultery. Both according to Shmuel and Rukh, but it's okay. Yemras b'shlama ruach tara shapir. You say it's a good spirit, it makes sense. Yemras ruach tuma rishus v'chova liulei leinish ruach tuma benafshe. Right? He's allowed to, or is it obligatory to bring a spirit of impurity into himself. Obviously, Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva both agree you're allowed to warn your wife. Gufa, Bikinas Ishto Rishos, Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Shmuel says you're permitted. Doesn't mean you have to warn your wife. If you suspect her adultery, you're permitted to. Rabbi Akiva Omer Chova. And Rabbi Akiva says it's obligatory. La Yitama, they have a machlokes in 3 places in the Torah. La Yitama, that's talking about when one of your Zayin Krovim dies, and you're a Kohen, you're allowed to be matame for her. According to Rabbi Shmuel, Rishos to Rabbi Shmuel. If you're allowed to, you don't have to bury her or him. Rabbi Akiva Omer Chova. Rabbi Akiva says it's obligatory. A third machlokes, by avodim knainim, you should work them forever. You're not allowed to free an Evan Knaini. You have to keep it. You violate an essay, the Gemara says, by freeing an Evan Knaini. So, Rabbi Akiva says it's a chov, it's obligatory. I'm Rav Papa Abaye. Rav Papa says to Abaye, if Amri la Rav Misharshi la Rav, Lema Rabbi Akiva b'chol Torah kula hachi pli. Say they argue about this in the entire Torah. The Mara Amar Rishos, Amar Amar Chova. Right. Anytime, say it's a general machlokes in the Torah. These are 3 examples. Rabbi Shmuel says the mitzvos are up to you. If you choose to do them, you're allowed to. Not that they're obligatory. He says the mitzvahs are obligatory. No. Everyone agrees, presumably it's obligatory to do mitzvahs. Here they're talking about darshan the psukim, which lead Rabbi Shmuel to indicate that it's talking about a rishos. It's not an obligation in these cases. My time with the Rishon. What's the reason Rishon? Sarva Laki Atana the Sanya Rishon Lazar Ben Yaakov Omer Kalafisha Amr Torah Lo Sisan Tzachika Balavecha. It says elsewhere in the Torah, you can't hate your fellow Jew. Yachal Kigon Zu. You might think also over here, a man can't hate his wife by warning her. If he suspects her, he should warn her. So it's permission. You're not violating. It says a second time the word Lakane. And therefore, one pasuk is needed to tell you, like Rabbi Shmuel, it's a rishus, you're allowed to, you're not violating lo sisna l'kabal vecha. The second is to tell you that you're obliged to do it. Rabbi Shmuel, I did the boy l'michta v'hi nitma, v'hi lo nitma. Right, since it talks about 2 scenarios in the Torah. One where there's an aide that saw that she actually committed adultery. And the second case where we're not sure, right? She just a Sotah. The 2 aidim saw she was secluded. Ksiv nami v'kina ishta. I'll tell you in both cases, v'kina was written one time for where there was two, and one time where there was just seclusion. The Chatan of Rabbi Shmuel, like it accords to Rabbi Shmuel, they taught in the Yeshiva Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Shmuel, kol bar shenemar v'nishtis l'nishtis b'shvil davar shenes chadash ba. The way the Torah talks, if it tells you 2 chidushim, it's going to talk about it in a complete way, and therefore we don't darshan everything. The fact that it says v'kina, it's just good symmetry when it's talking about a different halacha, right? Case of seclusion, also a chiddush by Sotah. Therefore, it says the word kina also, not necessarily for a drasha. La yitama rishus, Rabbi Shmuel. The second machlokas. Rabbi Akiva Omer Chova. Rabbi Akiva says you're obligated to bury your one Zayin Krovim if you're a Kohen. My time with Rabbi Shmuel. What's the reason, Rabbi Shmuel? Dichsiv, I did dichsiv emor lekohanim bnei Aaron emar talem lenefesh leitama ba'amav. Since it says to Kohanim, you're not allowed to bury, you're not allowed to come in contact with a dead person. It's Richel Michtav La Yitama. It tells you the rishus you're allowed to break it. Rabbi Akiva michi im l'sheiro nafka. Rabbi Akiva says, the fact that you're permitted to bury your Zayin Krovim, that we learn kim l'sheiro, people that are close to you, your wife or your Zayin Krovim are close to. La Yitama. Why is it the public La Yitama? Lamali l'chova. Tell you not only are you rishus, but you're actually obligated to bury your Zayin Krovim. Rishmel, the La Yitama, he darshan something else in the word La Yitama. La mitma leva reha. It's a miyat. It comes to tell you can mitame for your Zayin Krovim, but not if the body is in limbs. It has to be a complete body. If there's just a limb that you're burying, you're not mitame for that. Top of Gimel Beis, Rabbi Akiva, imkein lichtov rachmana Allah. Velishto. If that's really true, right, the teacher, Rabbi Akiva agrees with this, then you're not mitame for the Ivarim. It could have said la, velishto, yitama lamali. Why is it could have said la? La, a complete person, not part of her. Yitama lamali, shmaminas. Therefore, yitama teaches me that it's an obligation. Rishmal, I did siv la, siv nami yitama. Right? for symmetry in the Torah has to sound nice. So therefore, one says la, it doesn't sound nice, it says la, right? La yitama, because to tell you, la yitama is to teach you that you're not mitame for the Ivarim. That's why yitama is just for symmetry. The third machlokas. My time with the Debrei Shema. What's Rabbi Shlomo say? When you go and conquer Eretz Yisrael, it says you shouldn't. The Zion, the 7 nations, 7 Knainim, different nations in Eretz Yisrael, you have to kill them all. So it's the Mitzvah to tell you Lemishri Echan Mikol Omos Shaba Ala Knainis V'Holim Mena Ben Sheta Rasha Leknoso. Right, you don't have to kill an Eved who is the product of someone who's a woman who's from Canaan, one of the Zion Umos in Eretz Yisrael, and a man who's not Jewish, but he's not part of that. So their son that they have is considered to be an Eved Kanaini, but he's not considered to be someone that you have to kill. To mystery, to tell you that you could work, not that only you have to work them and you can't set them free. So you can buy with the people that live with you in Eretz Yisrael. You can buy a vodin for them. Let's say it's the opposite. Let's say a man from Zion Umos was together with a woman who's not Jewish, but not from the Zion Umos. It says in the pasuk, "Asher alidu ba'artzachem," and I know the ba'artzachem lo min agarim ba'artzachem. Generally, the child is born where the mother is. If the mother is Canaanite, she's living in Eretz Yisrael. So therefore, that's the type of person you can buy. You can buy an eved from them because the father is not a Canaanite. However, a garim ba'artzachem, meaning the mother was probably outside. She was not one of the Zion Umos. The Canaanite went to her, and then they came back to live in the land. Those people you have to kill. Rekiva learns this drasha that certain avadim you can buy. It says mehem tiknu nafka, right? You can split the pasuk in two. Why did it say mehem tavodu? I tell you that you can't free them. Rabbi Yishmael bahem v'lo ba'achechem. He says no. Bahem teaches me that you can work in Eved Knaini, but you can't work in Eved Ivri. In Eved Ivri, the Mesachas Kedusha talks about the 2 different avadim that are not Jewish. And Avadim that are Jewish. Avadim that are Jewish, you have to be more careful with them. You have to give them an extra pillow. You can't give them avodas parich, meaning not give them work for no reason, not tell them how long they're working. Where does Rekiva know that? You have to treat Avadim and Ivrim differently. Actually says it explicitly, right? Your Jewish brethren, even if you take Eved Ivri in certain circumstances, like Gemara says in Mesachas Kedushin, you can't do avodas parech like Paro did. Rabbi Yishmael, Aidi dechsiv v'achechem, ksiv nami bahem. No, it has to write everything in the pasuk just for symmetry, like he says. It has to be for symmetry, so you write it in a full language. You don't darshan both things. If a woman is committing adultery, we'll see how it's a woman. A woman is committing adultery in the house. It's like a worm is eating up a sesame seed. Basically devours it. It devours your house. If there's strength in the house, it also destroys the house. It's like a worm destroying a sesame seed. Like the Gemara said, it only applies to a woman. A woman who is an alpha female, or a woman who commits adultery, right? It basically destroys the house. Husband's not going to marry to a woman who commits adultery. But men can commit adultery. It's not going to destroy their house. As long as we're talking about the woman doesn't know about it. If she knows about it, she'll probably divorce him. Before Jews sinned, I think it's talking about Bnos Midyan, in the Bamidbar they sinned with them. The Shechina was Shorim Kol Echad Ve'echad. Hashem's presence was felt with each person. Shnemar, Hashem is amongst your camp. Once they sinned with the Bnos Midyan, the Shechina left. Shnemar, at the end of the Sefer Torah, it says, right? Hashem shouldn't see something which is inappropriate, basically doing an avera, a morality. Hashem will leave. Anyone does one mitzvah in this world, it goes and and leads the way for him into Olam Haba. Your sidkecha, your positive deeds will walk in front of you. Anyone who doesn't have Avera in this world, a serious Avera, it becomes entangled with him to the day of judgment. It sticks with him. The way their lives should become attached to them when they go into Tohu. Tohu is Gehenna, B'Yovedu, and they'll be destroyed. Not only is it attached to him, it's attached to him like a dog to his master. It's by Yosef, right? He didn't want to be with her. Not only if he slept with her, he'd be with her in this world, and also in Olam Haba, she would be with him. Now, that's a terrible thing. Maybe she was pretty. Maybe he'd be with her. Now the Gemara returns to the discussion of the halachas of a sotah. Right? The Isser of Stira, right? That she comes secluded. We don't know for sure there was Tuma, that she definitely committed adultery. Doesn't ask her Isser Olam. She could drink the Mei Sotah, she could become exonerated. It has to be at least 2 Eidim, according to Rabbi Shua. Eidos ha'achrona starts the Isser Olam. The second Eidos, right, which the 1 Eid of Tuma, she's also forever. And additional is Kayam Bach Mishnayim. Certainly you should need 2 people. That's why the Torah goes out of 20 to say Ve'ein Ba. Like we learned yesterday. There's no 2 Eidim, only 1 Eid. As long as there's 1 Eid, it's good enough. So the Gemara says that once that's true, the second, right, the Eidos where she was Nitma, 1 Eid says she was Nitma, it asks her forever. Certainly, the Eidos says Stira also should 1 Eid should be good enough. It says when it comes to Arayas, it says davar, ma davar, davar, ma davar. I want to halan al pishnayim edim. Just like when it comes to dinei mamonis, you need 2 witnesses. Afkan. When it comes to arayos, al pishnayim. So therefore, when it comes to eidei stira, it needs 2. So the Gemara asks, "Hai mechi matzav erev davar nafka." The fact that when you have 2 edim that says she was nistara, she's asura to her husband, that's from the pasuk matzav erev davar. That's talking about where Vada committed adultery. But there's just no kina in stira. If there's no kina in stira, you need 2 Eidim to tell you that she committed adultery. They saw her commit adultery. Only when you have Kina V'Stira, like the Gemara says, or Rishmal says, Raglaim L'Davar. We'll explain that more in the Ben Sion. So that's why it's different over here. But here we learn it somewhere else. Mibba Nafka, right? It says that he warned her, and it says Ba, and she did it with that Nafka. Ba, it says Ve'ein Ba. There's no witness for the bia. Ba v'lo b'kina, ba v'lo b'stira. Ba, an eid echad suffices only for the tuma, but not for the kina b'stira. You need 2 eidim. Hachanami kamar. So the Gemara says, no, that's what it's saying. Talmud lomar ma ba. Ba v'lo b'kina, ba v'lo b'stira. But tuma ba'alma, and tuma ba'alma, that she committed adultery elsewhere, below kina v'lo stira, the lo mehem eid echad. How do you know 1 eid is not believed? We know nemar kan Ki moter as davar, never lahalan al pishnayim edim al pishlosh edim yakum davar. Madar lahalan edim shnayim afkan edim shnayim. So therefore, if there's no kinam mistira and you want to answer the woman for adultery, there has to be 2 edim. That's where elsewhere. But here there's kinam mistira, so therefore eid echad is believed. Stay tuned for Yom and Sion. We're going to talk about. First of all, it sounds like very small. Ragayim l'davar. What is he giving? It says the edim. The Torah tells you there's a cost of 2 edim. Not 1 eid is good enough. What's he giving, a svara for the Torah? Right? Darshin and time of the Kra. This is something I'm always bothered by, because the Gemara says only according to Rabbi Shimon, Darshin and time of the Kra. We make drashas, we try to figure out the reasons. That's what my Rebbe told me many times, or in the name of Rav Chana Wasserman. In yeshiva, we don't ask why, we ask what. The problem is the Gemara here, Rabbi Shmuel, says why. So I'll talk about that a little bit, and I'll talk about what Raglayim L'Davar means, even with Ben Sion coming up next.